Welcome back to Ali and the Golden Eagle by Wayne Grover. I wanted to show you a picture of a golden eagle. So right here, that's a golden eagle, and this is a bald eagle. So you can see how they're similar and different. Look at their beaks. They both have that curved, hooked beak that helps them to eat wild animals. All right, Chapter 4, a test of strength. Welcome to our home, Mr. Wayne. Ali's father greeted me in traditional Arabian style. May Allah bless you and your children. Mustafa was larger than most Arabian men. His handsome face was set off by a black goatee and mustache. And may Allah give you health and many more children, I replied, greeting him politely as Arabians greet one another. Mustafa's piercing dark eyes looked much like the falcons he trained, but a warmth and sincerity poured from them, making me feel welcome in his home and village. He added, and may you prosper and live long. With the customary greeting over, Ali's brothers came and shook my hand one by one. My father says he wishes you to try your strength against his, Mr. Wayne, said Fouad, the oldest of Mustafa's sons. Your father looks very strong, and I'm sure I can be no match for him, I said, showing respect for the boy's father and hero. Ali told me that he is the strongest man in the village and that he has been the contest champion for many years. That is true, replied Fouad, and he will beat you. Ali and his brothers were justly proud of their father. They, in turn, were the light of his eye. Mustafa told me he had 3 wives, 1 fewer than allowed by the Quran. He also had 5 daughters, but Saudi men never speak of their daughters with anyone outside the family. The Saudi families love their daughters just as much as their sons, but centuries-old tradition and religious practices require the women to remain separate when outsiders are in their homes. Come, my American friend, let us share food together. Mustafa sat down on the hand-woven carpet that was spread on the earthen floor of the eating room and gestured for his sons and me to join him. As we ate together, I was careful to use only my right hand to touch the food. Arabians never use their left hand to eat, and I did not want to offend my host. Mustafa, his 4 sons, Fouad, Abdul, Ali, and Rahman, Ali's full brother, and I sat in a small circle around the food, which was served in dishes placed on the floor mat. They enjoyed a tasty meal of goat meat, rice with cheese, and steaming vegetables. After finishing our meal, we went out onto the flat roof of the house. It was a velvet black night, and the stars shone with brilliant intensity. Allah is watching over us. See his big cup pouring forth goodness on our village, Mustafa said, pointing to the Big Dipper. It is a good omen. We all sat about for an hour on the stone ledge of the roof in the blackness of the canyon wall and talked. The only sound was the rustle of the wind as it stirred the trees in the groves near the houses. You can sleep in the tower, Mr. Wayne, and tomorrow we will have the contest of strength. I wasn't sure what kind of contest I was in for, but I knew if I was going to win the confidence of Ali's father and brothers, I had better make a good showing. Yes, I hope I can do well, I replied. The tower of the old stone and mud house, hundreds of years old, had once been used as a lookout post when the warring tribes of the canyon raided each other's villages. But through the years it had come to be used for many other purposes. Now, in a time of peace, the tower, with its 2 interior levels, was used for food storage and the sheltering of animals when the winter winds blew through the canyon. Mustafa prepared a bed of straw under a hand-woven wool blanket and bade me good night. I felt a sense of peace and beauty as I lay there. The smell of drying hay and pumpkins filled the air. Soon I was in a deep sleep. "Wake up, my friend, wake up!" was Ali, shaking my shoulder and smiling broadly as he greeted me in the new day. "Good morning, Ali," I yawned. "Good morning, my American friend. We have finished our morning prayers, and it is time for you to rise." I stretched and stood to look out the big open window. The day was bright and clear, and I could see for miles down the canyon. The rising sun lit the rim above the canyon like a halo of fire. Ali stood by my side. We watched several large birds repeatedly swooping toward the ground, hunting rodents that scurried along the canyon floor. "It is a wonderful day to have a contest and hunt with the falcons, is it not?" asked Ali. "Indeed it is. I look forward to seeing your father work with his birds." I followed Ali down to the main level of the house, where the women had set out breakfast. I joined the male family members on the meal mat, and my Arabian friends served me their traditional treat, fresh pumpkin with a spicy sauce mixed with rice and meat. "When the sun is high and the work is finished, we will show you true Arabian hospitality, my friend," said Mustafa, wiping his mouth. "I look forward to it, Mr. Mustafa. Please, just call me Mustafa. As friends, we need not be so formal." "I agree, and I would like you to call me Wayne." After we had finished eating, Mustafa and his 3 older sons went to work their fields. He asked Ali to stay behind with me. "Come, Mr. Wayne, I'll show you more of the village and the fields." He led me down the stone street that sloped steeply toward the canyon floor, hundreds of feet below. As we walked, Ali pointed out the sights. "See, there is the baker's store. He makes bread for all the village. And there is the iron forger. He makes our tools for farming the land." Everywhere I looked, the villagers were busy going about their daily lives. As we walked down the street, I noticed the women go into their houses and not reappear until after we had passed. Ali and I walked through the canyon, watching the wild creatures in their search for food and survival. Finally, we came upon a large band of baboons scattered along a sloping hill. "Stop here," warned Ali. "The baboons can be very dangerous. See those big males away from the others? They are the guards and will attack anything that comes near their females and babies. We have lost 2 villagers to them in the past year." As I looked at the big animals, they were already moving toward us. The lead baboon must have weighed as much as I did. "Run, Mr. Wayne, he looks angry," warned Ali. We turned and hurried back up the canyon. It was just after noon when we returned to the village. About 30 men and boys were assembled in a clearing of grass, waiting for the 3rd prayer of the day. Ali hurried to join them. When Mustafa called the prayer, all the men stood in rows, facing toward the city of Mecca to the north. Mustafa stood alone in front of them. Then they assumed a kneeling position, and for 5 minutes they alternated positions by placing their foreheads on the ground and then returning to an upright kneeling position. Mustafa led the prayers with an Arabic song-like chant. They finished and stood up. Now we shall compete in the contest of strength, called Mustafa. Wayne, my American friend, do you think you are as strong as I? Oh, your sons have told me of your great strength, Mustafa. I can only hope my own strength is sufficient to warrant a contest, I answered. You will see that we are a very strong people, said Fouad. An old, white-bearded man stepped forward. Ali explained to me that he was the judge. Who shall be first in the contest? He asked. Two village men stepped forward, faced each other, and grabbed each other's forearms near the elbows in a tight hand lock. The old man shouted the command to start the contest. Each man tried to force the other off his feet and throw him to the ground. They grunted and groaned and struggled until suddenly one man lost his footing and was sent flying. The victor shouted, "As Allah wills it." Man after man tried his hand at beating the winner, but soon ended up on the ground. Finally, Ali's father was the only man left who had not tried. He stepped into the contest circle, and grabbed the big Arabian's forearms. "Start!" called the judge. The two strong men pushed and pulled, trying to throw the other off balance. They were both skilled at the contest, and I could not help wondering what would happen to me when my turn came. With a mighty heave, Mustafa nearly lifted his opponent from his feet and sent him flying to the ground. The villagers cheered while he raised both hands in victory. Mr. Wayne, you have seen that my father is the champion of the village. He has also beaten the best man of the 3 other villages in the valley. His father before him was also champion. Ali was looking up at me with a proud smile on his face. Yes, he is very strong, Ali. He is truly a great champion. If you try his strength, you will lose too, Mr. Wayne. No one has ever beaten my father. Just then the villagers started calling together, "Let the American try! Let the American try!" Mustafa, sweating and smiling, looked at me and said, "Yes, now let me show you Arabian strength, my American friend." The time had come to try my luck against the champion. I took off my jacket and rolled up my shirt sleeves. I had no idea what to do against such a strong man, but I would try my best. I stepped into the circle and faced Mustafa squarely. We shook hands, and then I slid both my hands up his arms until they were locked around them at the elbow. His hands, as tough as tanned leather, felt like a vice around my arms. We stood there, face to face, waiting for the signal from the starter. The command to begin was shouted by the judge. Mustafa was so fast that I was almost thrown to the ground in the first second. He had exceptional strength, and I struggled to keep my balance. The villagers cheered for their chief as I tried to stay within the circle formed by small stones. I would need some advantage if I were to have a chance. I tried to push him back, but he bent his knees and lowered his shoulders and stood like a rock. With all my might, I pushed and pulled, but he didn't budge. Then he gave a grunt and lurched forward with all his strength, nearly forcing me down. It gave me an idea. When I took karate lessons, I had learned to use an opponent's strength against him, using balance and speed to alter his direction. Maybe it would work here. I started pushing forward until I felt Mustafa shove back. He took a deep breath and attacked. As he pushed forward, I let my arms go loose, and he shot toward me off balance. His feet were not planted tightly, so I twisted as hard as I could. In that instant, Mustafa proved he was the stronger man. Regaining his balance, he suddenly lifted me off my feet and easily threw me out of the contest circle. I hit the ground with a thump. A loud cry rang out from the villagers as I sprawled on the ground. Slowly I stood up, and Mustafa looked at me with a deep frown. Then, suddenly, with a smile that seemed to spread from ear to ear, he threw his arms around me and enthusiastically thumped me on my back. "You are very strong, my friend, but not strong enough. You have beaten me squarely, Mustafa. I salute you." The villagers laughed and cheered. I was suddenly no longer a stranger. I was one of them. "Abdul, prepare the falcons. We shall show our American friend true Arabian mastery of the skies." I knew I was in for a treat that few outsiders had ever shared. I was going to see the masters of falconry work with the fierce predators of the sky.